Her smile shines as bright as the stars at night. Her heart is as kind as can be. She has the patience of a saint, but if you push her, oh Lordy. A straight talker is Smiley. She's the salt of the earth. Make no mistake, she matters. Catch Smiley's story on a live stream. Oh boy, that girl can matter. Go Smiley. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Missing posters and stories of heartache and fear. She tells us all of the heartbreaking tears. She can sniff out the guilty from a mile away. If Smiley's on the case, then she's here to stay. She cares about these missing children. She cares deeply about them all. She speaks the truth with integrity. For the truth, she will seek it all. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Smiley's questions are like a heat-seeking missile. She's going straight for the bullseye. Don't ever believe you can fool her. She's too wise, man, she won't comply. She values freedom like the 4th of July. She values respect even more. If you want to earn a place at Smiley's table, watch the clock, it takes time for sure. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you break her trust, you're done for. Trust don't grow back like grass. So don't give Smiley a reason to doubt you, or that friendship will shatter like glass. She's a damn good woman, that much we know. She puts in the hours to bring them kids home. If your child is missing, you want Smiley on the case. She is always willing and she gives so much grace. She's a Smiley, alright. She's a Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hello, H. Davis. 2 in a row. We're going to go for 3 today, I see. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Don Emery, hello. Sherry Lynn, hello. Good afternoon. Leslie, keep it real. Hello. Thank you. Yeah, y'all hit them thumbs up. Y'all hit them thumbs up. If you're in the bushes, it don't matter. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here so much. Just hit the thumbs up so we can get this story out. I hope everybody's doing good. Have you had your lunch? Have you had your coffee and your Cokes and your wine and all the things? Well, we don't need no wine because I don't want to have to be handing out no cheese, honey, with your wines. We got enough wines out of Rebecca. Hey, Sam. Good to see you. Good to see you, Sam. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see everybody. We're going to talk about Jake the Fake Haro today. And he when I got off of here, I found out he had a jailhouse interview yesterday. Honey, he must be trying to keep up with at certain times, Sherry Lynn. I'm telling you, I'm losing my voice again. So thank you. I'm glad you can smile. Hey, Lady for Justice. Hello, hello. So yeah, so he had this interview. I think he's not trying to keep up with the Joneses. I think he's trying to keep up with the Rebeccas, his wife. I think them jail walls do talk, honey. That's what I think. No, you know what I think? I think he knew that look. You know, that look, that stink eye she gave him yesterday in the courtroom. So he better get on there and do some talking. That's what I think. That's what I think. So if you haven't heard, Jake the fake Haro gave a jailhouse interview yesterday. A laugh a day. Hello. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. I appreciate you all being here. I was like, say what? Say what? Are you kidding me? So now Jake the Fake gave a jailhouse interview, and he's the father, as we know, the world knows by now, of 7-month-old baby Emmanuel Haro. And they still not have found baby Emmanuel. So he goes to court, and then he goes back, and then he gives this interview, and he spoke from jail yesterday, August 27th, 2025, and he was expressing a lot of support, you guessed it, for his beautiful wife, Rebecca. And he said his beautiful wife, Rebecca, was innocent. What? Say what? So they're taking up for each other. They're still doing all the things, at least in public. At least in public. Okay? They want one wants the other to think they love them so much. They love them so much. We're going to have to do a love show. This is terrible, man. So he's trying to keep up with his wife. Lord. He did a 45-minute, the way I understand it, a 45-minute jailhouse interview. And Jake emphasized that Rebecca is innocent. And he called her a beautiful woman who loves her children, and stated, I love you, buddy. That was referring to his child, Emmanuel. That's not love. It's not love. Beautiful? No. If my wife did this, or Jake the Fake come anywhere near to helping somebody like you, if you did this, or covering for anybody, cleaning up, doing all the things that you both did, I would be sick. I'd want to puke every single time I looked at that person, whether it be him, whether it be her. I would literally want to puke. Jake was asked if he could say anything to Emmanuel, anything, what would he say? And he said, I love you, buddy. Where have we heard all that before? It really makes my skin crawl. It really does. Is that all he's got? Is that all he can muster up? I mean, poor baby Emmanuel. Poor baby Emmanuel. So, allegedly, despite his attorney's instructions, Jake Haro set for this jailhouse interview during which he decided his wife is innocent. In my opinion, they're only hurting themselves, which I don't care. I tell them to keep singing like a bird. Keep singing like that parrot Rebecca had in her earlier days. Keep singing. Keep singing. That may be where she's got some of her experience at, training that parrot. I have no idea why he chose to do this interview. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Oh, I have some thoughts. Smiley has some thoughts. I think I got a pretty good idea. I think it's because she gave him that stink eye in court. You know? Because them walls talk, and I think it got around. He was out in the open fields in the mountains where the coyotes and all the things was speaking to the cops long enough for the news to grab that. I know, she's in PC 23 hours a day. Okay, and them jail walls talk, honey. Them jail walls talk. I'm sorry. He knew what that look meant when she glanced over at him yesterday. I knew what that look meant, and I don't even know her. I don't even know her. It was, you saw me with the police, baby, but trust me, baby, I will never roll on you, baby. Get the F out of here, Jake. You're a beautiful woman, baby. She's a beautiful woman, world. She loves her kids. She loves all of her kids. She's a good mother. She's a beautiful woman. Get out of here. Let me tell you something. It don't matter what he did. It don't matter what she hears through them jail walls. Rebecca has been around a few blocks before. I'm sorry to tell you. She's been around a few blocks. You can take that any way you want it. It don't matter what he says. She saw what she saw first, and she ain't gonna get over that shit. She gonna still stick to her story. We're gonna watch what plays out in the next couple of days. Let's watch some stuff. Okay? I was like, what? He did an interview. Okay. He did an interview. Let's do this one. Pascal always makes me laugh. Let's do Pascal, okay? Full credit goes to Pascal, the Pascal show.
From jail, and the things that he says here are, it's interesting and it's crazy. I will say that. And he even says to his missing son, I love you, buddy. It makes you feel some type of way. Okay, let me just be real. He says a lot of things in here. He says God got us. You know, he says God got us. God is with us when it comes to him and Rebecca. He speaks out, basically defending Rebecca, saying that she has nothing to do with this little boy's unaliving and all this stuff. This is very, very interesting nonetheless. So we're just going to get straight into this article. Okay, this is just crazy. All right, make it make sense. All right, so in an exclusive jailhouse interview, father of baby Emmanuel says he would tell his missing son, I love you, buddy. Now, here's the thing. He knows exactly where this kid is. All right. It's not like this kid miraculously, got picked up out of nowhere by somebody else and was discarded somewhere, okay, out here in these streets. All right. This man knows exactly where this young boy is.
Sure
but
does.
I think he believes that if there's no body, there is no charge. But clearly he's wrong, because they're looking at some charges right now, and they're looking at some serious time behind bars. both of them. Okay. And he is still, even while he is donned in all red, in his red jumpsuit, prison jumpsuit, which looks great on him. Okay. It's fantastic. That outfit is
Absolutely,
meant for
Garrett.
him. Okay. Even while he's
You're not
still
subbed
there,
up to
he is
Pascal. Go
still
over
in the
there and
land of
sub up. He
delusion,
is
just
really
like
doing
his
some good
wife.
work on this
All
one.
right. Still sitting here saying, oh, no, we're innocent. We didn't do anything wrong. Right. Now, of course, there's been conversation about him talking to some sort of fake inmate. There's not been any confirmation of that. Obviously, during the press conference, they said that was fake news, that was just exaggerated, made up stuff by the press or by, as they said, keyboard warriors and all that. And I'm telling you right now, when it comes to the keyboard warriors, when it comes to the internet journalists that are out here, let's be real, without all of us doing what we're doing right now, talking about this case, I don't think that the police would feel as much urgency and as much heat on their necks trying to get this kid the justice that he rightfully deserves. So again, just wanted to throw in my 2 cents about that here. Okay, let's be real. All right, without all the people that have been just doing everything they can at ground.
We are back with major new updates in the case of 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro, the baby reported missing out of Yucaipa, California.
Oh, Lord, honey. Somebody come in here and ask me something and I hit buttons. Okay, do y'all see her on my screen? I don't know what I want to do. Hold on a minute. I wanted to find Pascal. Hold on just a minute, y'all. Okay, hold on just a minute. Let me see if I can... let's see if I can do this. I don't know how to stop her, but I want to show her. If not, we'll do it next. Hold on. Let's see. Stop screen. All right. Go back and share. Hold on. Now, where's Pascal? I got to find him again. Hold on. Okay. I think I got it.
Their necks trying to get this kid the justice.
Okay. Sorry. I don't know what I did. Don't touch buttons. But anyway, what I wanted to stop that because you know what? Homie's getting a lot of bad stuff from the courts and stuff. Y'all, that was Homie in the courtroom. I posted it that asked those questions yesterday. And if you didn't also see it, I don't know. But they come out and also got onto him and stuff. Look, I'm sorry. I agree. If we wouldn't know a lot of stuff if it wasn't for Homie. Homie is everywhere. So I'm going to tell you, I stand with him. I appreciate him and I don't care. I don't care if he said Ola in the courtroom and took a chance. He can't never take that chance again. Pascal's right about that from the other night. But they need to stay off of Homie. Honey, this is homegirl right here telling you that. Country homegirl. Hold on. We're going to go back. I just want to stop that because before he got it out of his mouth, I wanted to tell you that. They need to leave Homie alone. Shit.
Says that he rightfully deserves. So again, just wanted to throw in my 2 cents about that here. Okay, let's be real. All right, without all the people that have been just doing everything they can
Everybody
at ground zero to bring awareness to this case and trying to find this young boy, which is commendable, by the way, that people are doing that. I don't think that this case would be where it is right now. See what I'm saying? Because the urgency, the need for justice quickly, the need for results quickly would not be looming over the police's head. But anyway, we got to get into this because this is absolutely crazy. All right. He did an interview. All right. And apparently this was on video too. So maybe this interview will come out. This video interview might actually leak, or they might actually bring it out.
I requested that. I don't know if I'll get it,
but
or
the
if I
fact
have
that
to
he's
mail it
still
in, or
sitting here
what.
saying, "I love you, buddy." No, you don't. Okay. He's still, and they say that he accidentally woke up on, I got to use these code words as best as I can, but he was sleeping next to Emmanuel, and apparently he woke up and Emmanuel, like, I guess, was underneath him or something like that. Okay. And then he went and he put him in a trash can. Now, if that's entirely true, that still remains to be seen. Okay. But nonetheless, this is some crazy stuff. And the fact that he is out here doing an interview is absolutely crazy to me. So let's take a look at this, okay? So he said in a jailhouse interview on Wednesday, so just yesterday, that the DA, his assertion that this missing 7-month-old boy was the victim of long-term attacks, he says it was not true at all. That those claims are not true at all, okay? But he declined to discuss what role, if any, he played in Emmanuel's disappearance, because he has everything to do with his disappearance. And so does Rebecca. Obviously, we already know about this. They corroborated the story. They used the markings on her face to add to the story. They made up some man coming up and saying, "Hola," right? They figured out to go to Big Five Sporting Goods store in that parking lot and to stage that whole thing there, because I believe they knew that there were no security cameras outside, so that there would be, so if she was lying, it could not be caught on film. At least that's what they thought. We already know about all that, right? But the fact that he is trying to play innocent and also trying to make her seem innocent is absolutely insane. All right. So his wife and himself, okay, are charged with M and, filing a fake police report, which we already know. And they have a bail set for $1 million each, which would be $2 million in total. And honestly, they should not even have bail. They shouldn't even have a bond right now, guys. They should not. That's just my personal opinion.
I agree.
Jake had said little else about that case in the interview, okay? But he did start talking about what happened in 2023, the conviction that he had in the past with what happened to Baby Promise, which we will be talking about here in a second. He would not say whether he led authorities to Moreno Valley Badlands on Sunday, okay, where he was spotted with investigators. He won't talk about that, but he did say he had been completely cooperative, quote unquote, completely cooperative with investigators. He says, "I want to talk about it, but I can't."
Okay, if he didn't lead them there, and again, I don't care how big I blow this up. Thank, Pascal and everybody for putting this out and allowing all creators to share. I think if you don't, and I'm not talking about Pascal, I think if you don't, you have a problem with creators sharing anything of yours right now in these serious cases. That's pretty selfish, but I try to give everybody credit, and I appreciate it. And I was going to say I appreciate it because no matter how big that I blow this up, I could not read that crap to y'all because I'm having problems with my eyes right now, honey. I'm just telling you. And it's nice to have somebody to read it. It is. So I appreciate that part. But Jake, the fake Jake Haro, honey, he's lying. If he didn't lead them out there, why would they get in that spot? I got something I was going to do the other day, and I think I'll do it today. He needs to stop crying wolf and playing. That's all I'm going to tell you. Stay tuned for later today. Hey, Dawn, let's see what you say. Salute to you. That's right. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, he is deflecting, honey. He is deflecting. Hello, everybody coming in. Everybody, thank you for being here so much. I appreciate you so much. Let me get back to him if I don't knock him off again. God, I never did that one before. Hold on.
Aunt.
Thank you.
He said, referring to instructions from his attorney, his Timu lawyer, by the way. I'm assuming, okay. I was told, don't do no press. So he's leaning on what the lawyer told him to do, saying, hey, the lawyer told me not to talk to anybody. The lawyer told me to keep my mouth shut and stay holed up in the house and not conduct any searches for this little boy. Okay. Yeah. First off, they already know where they are. They already know where he is. Let's be real. They already know where he is. They already know where he is. They already know where he is. But they're playing the police because they're trying to get a deal. Or at least Jake is. Rebecca just basically said, my boy was taken. That's all I know, right? And my husband's a good man. He's a good man. He's a good man. He would never raise a hand on anybody. He's a good man, right? So he wore a red jail jumpsuit, indicating that he is segregated. He's in a segregated housing.
I bet every time she sees a guard or a CO, it's Ola, hey Ola. Or I bet they're doing that to her. I can't blame homie. He couldn't resist. Can't blame him. Come here, Ola. Ola, I got a headache. Don't you know in here, honey, you don't get no aspirin. You better sit down. I used to say, I was just playing. This is way before I got on YouTube or anything. I wish I had something to make the noise. Maybe I might. I always said if I was a CO officer, I'd go down them rails and go, make that noise all the way down, but it would be one big noise. Just saying. Just saying. I bet she's getting pure hell in there. I bet she's getting hell.
For his protection, you got to remember, they don't take kindly to inmates that do things to littles.
No, they don't.
So I can see why he is being protected to a certain extent. All right. He said he had no contact with other inmates. He sometimes wiped his face with a white cloth. His eyes appeared to be red. He said he attended
white with them
High
people.
because
I'm just telling you.
Tight end and linebacker on the football team. Nobody cares. Okay. But during this 45-minute interview, he said the couple cares about Emmanuel. They attempted to schedule several appointments to inoculate the boy, but one hospital was continually out of vaxes. He said, okay. They eventually switched hospitals and had an appointment for October 2nd, where he was supposed to go get his pokes. Little boy was supposed to get his pokes. Now, Rebecca claimed that, of course, we already know about this whole situation where somebody came up and said, hola, she got knocked the F out. She woke up and baby boy was gone, right? All of that, of course, is not true. We even heard in that press conference yesterday that all of that is a bold-faced lie, okay? He talked at length, Jake talked at length about his child cruelty conviction, okay, in 2023. The thing that he did in 2018 to baby.
He can talk about that till the cows come home.
We don't say her original name anymore.
There's no excuse.
That was the name that she received from two monsters. Her emancipation name is Promise, in my personal opinion. Her name is Promise, not the other name, okay? And we will continue to call her Promise on this channel, okay? And may she try to have the most healthiest and live the fullest life that she can get. But this man and his wife, okay, the mother that bore this child, should still be behind bars for what they did, okay? But we already know that.
And
story,
he should never,
okay?
he should be reprimanded.
But
he should never be able to say her name
at
again.
Length,
They
and
should have
why he got this
more
deal,
time every time he says her
which we're going to
name.
talk about here in a second, okay? So they made plea deals with the judge over the objection of the district attorney's office. He received 180 days, which we already know, okay, which was a work release program, and he was handed a suspended 4 years prison sentence in order to attend a Child A treatment program. So he said Wednesday that that sentence was fair. No, it wasn't, baby. It was.
I'm sorry, but that judge, they should have some kind of, I don't know, if something happens like this and a judge lets them on a charge like that walk, they should go back and be able to arrest that judge. I'm just saying, I know it will never happen not in this lifetime, but honestly, that should happen. Honestly, it should. Good afternoon, Choochie. Hello, good to see you, honey. Good to see you.
It's not fair at all. He should have been locked up for good, in my personal opinion. Both of them, okay? Both Vanessa and him for what they did to Promise. But moving on, he said he wanted to take the case to trial, but he, quote unquote, he says, I pled guilty because I didn't have the money to go to trial.
Oh, bullshit.
The judge said nobody would believe my side of the story. Somehow they magically convinced me to take this damn plea deal. I was sick of court. The judge knows I.
Okay, I don't mean to keep stopping it, but they magically made him what? They just gave him a free pass for damn near taking the life of that little girl. And it's so much worse than even the prosecutor said yesterday. But he thought nobody would believe him. If somebody believed me like that, I wouldn't have no problem saying, come on. Okay. What is he talking about? I mean, oh my God, these people are sick. They're sick.
I didn't do it. They just railroaded me. I was the fall guy. Yeah, sure, you were the fall guy. No, you both were monsters and you did terrible things to this baby girl, and y'all got very lucky with what you got. The system let you slip through the cracks. That's exactly what happened. Period, point blank. Otto was hopeful on Wednesday that enough money could be raised, generally 10% of the bail. And then he says to free Rebecca, who he had wed 3 years ago, and of course, sired Emmanuel with her. Okay. Now, what's interesting is they're hoping to raise enough money. Guys, please don't give them money.
Please
raise
don't.
any money for these
I'd
two.
like to see a
Let them
big
rot
fat
in
zero
jail.
on that.
Let them go through
scammers.
hell. Family members, please don't do it. Let them be locked up. They know exactly where this kid is. The longer that they're in prison or in jail, the longer or the quicker one of them starts to talk.
I don't know. I hadn't looked, Leslie.
The quicker or the
I hadn't
sooner
looked if anybody
we have
does
Rebecca
for them. If
snap
they do, they're just,
on Jake.
Please don't tell me they do.
And suddenly we get truth, right? We get the full truth. And maybe she's the one who actually points out where this baby boy is, because they both know where they put this baby. Okay. They're both in the wrong, but let's move on. He continues and he speaks about Rebecca. Okay. Speaking of which, he says, Rebecca is innocent.
I wouldn't
The
give them
media
the
is killing
spit
her.
off my
She
ass
is a beautiful
or the
woman
spit off my
and she
ass
loves
if
her
they were on
children.
fire. I'm sorry.
And of course, she's being
And I'm a
held at a
kind
whole
person,
other
but I can
detention
be
center.
mean.
Okay. They're separated. They're completely separated, as they should, because they would just sit there and keep plotting, guys, keep corroborating and keep coming up with more sides of a story. You see what I'm saying? The fact that they're split up is a very, very good thing. So on Tuesday, when they appeared in court, they were separated from one another. Okay. Jake Haro said he encountered her after getting off an elevator. I'm trying to shout to her, I love you, he said. The deputy shoved me to the ground. He launched me like I was a rag doll. Well, I mean, they don't want you talking to your wife. You're a prisoner now. Okay. And apparently he re-injured his shoulder. Oh, lo siento. Moving on, the sheriff's department on Wednesday declined to comment on that account. Okay. They said this investigation will be ongoing for quite some time.
Figuring a way to sue the
All right,
police
we are
department.
not
What a
going to
scammer.
comment on statements made by the suspect, nor provide any details about the investigation. Why? Because one thing, they're not going to say anything about, make statements about what the suspect is saying.
They were so
because
mean to me. They re-injured me, or
he
they
could be
injured
lying.
me.
Adding more drama and trying to make it seem like I'm being hurt and I'm a human being. They need to treat me with respect. You see what I'm saying? These are two pathological liars. So, of course, this whole interview that he did is a freaking lie. He won't admit whether or not he was helping with police at that time when they went out into the Badlands. He won't say what happened with Emmanuel. You see what I'm saying? There's all this BS that just keeps coming out of these guys' mouth, right? Because he's lying. We shouldn't believe anything that's coming out of this guy's mouth. And Rebecca's too. She's been trained. She's been trained. So, Haro also talked about social media posts from the public that have been highly critical of the two. He says, God is with us. The allegations are horrendous.
Is.
So, of course, people are going to be riled up.
He got
The
two names in the
allegations
book,
are
honey.
horrendous. No, what you did to that baby boy is horrendous. It's not an allegation. You did that. Okay? You did that. So he was asked what he would say to Emmanuel if he could talk to his boy right now. And he said, I love you, buddy. That's what he said. He said, I love you, buddy. Now, let me just say this really quick. This man is one of the most manipulative mother lovers I've ever seen in my whole entire life. He is coming out here speaking in this interview, and what by the way, actually, let me just say this. Make this make sense. Why is he doing an interview? Before I even say anything, before I even waste all this hot breath on this mic, why did he agree to do an interview? You know that they have an option not to do these interviews. But both of them are doing these interviews. Why are they doing this interview? Why is he doing this interview right now? You know, Rebecca said what she said. There was no need for him to do anything. There's no need for him to say anything right now. But why is he doing this interview right now? Yeah, because he wants to continue to manipulate. This person, I think, gets zooted, all right, gets high off of these lies. That he's so focused on the court of public opinion that he's forgetting the common goal here, which is, where's the baby? Where's this baby Emmanuel? He knows exactly where this kid is, but instead he is doing these interviews and he's trying to play with all of us and the police. That's what I truly think. Let me ask you this, because here's the thing. If he was really out there trying to do his best to help with police, wouldn't he have said that in the interview? He declined to mention or to comment on why he was out in the Badlands with police on that day that we all were waiting at bated breath to see if we were going to find Emmanuel's remains. He could have had that opportunity right then and there to say, yeah, I went out there. I am helping. I am cooperating with police to find baby boy. He didn't say that. He declined to comment. And so he's still playing in this strange world of ambiguity when we actually already know the truth. And the truth is, these two have something to do with how this boy left this planet spiritually and how this boy is missing. There's no question about it. We could talk.
Okay. So go over there and watch the Pascal show. I was just making sure he was done with that. For whatever else he's going to say. But yeah, I agree. It's BS. It's all BS. I think he's just trying to keep up with, his wife. And I also think because I think the jail walls talk. And I also think that he knew that look. I mean, that's just my opinion. And he knew, or he thought, whether it was true or not, she was pissed because he went out, if nothing else, that he got out of jail for a little while, right? That's what I think. You don't see a GoFundMe page? Okay, well, we're going to keep an eye on that because there may be one pretty soon. I want to see how long it takes to literally get out on bond if they do. Now, if they do, this is what I look for. If they do, they may wait till their next court appearance, which is just next week. Everybody seems like, oh, that's a month away or whatever. It's just next week. Can they tough it out? Well, I think they can, because anybody who toughs out that their baby is gone and what they did to their baby can tough out sitting in jail a couple of more days without worrying about bond, right? So yeah, I think they can make it. Now, I think after that, I think they'll try their best to make bond and get out. I think they'll do whatever they have to do. Will they make it? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have any ideas on that. Y'all make sure you hit that thumbs up button and like button, because when we get through with this, we're going to also look at something very interesting. But anyway, yeah, I don't know why he chose to do that interview yesterday, honestly. And I love you. Jake the fake Haro, sitting behind bars, went and did himself a jailhouse interview and saying how beautiful his wife is, what a beautiful person for y'all just coming in. And when he was asked what he would say to little Emmanuel, his little buddy, he said, I love you. I would say he loves him. But guess what? That guy don't know what love is. Let me ask y'all something. If your baby is missing, if your child's life is in question, is your first instinct really to get on camera and clear your wife's name, or to say, tell me where my son is, if you didn't have anything to do with anything? At that point, everybody's on their own. Like I told y'all in the beginning, nobody come out if he's so innocent. Nobody spoke in Spanish for Emmanuel. Nobody took the opportunity to speak to cameras, to news then, did they? It was, you're on private property, thinking they're all secure behind their doors and stuff. All the things. Didn't take the opportunity at the Big Five. It was change his diaper and feed him. Change his diaper and feed him? You better bring my baby back. Change his diaper and feed him? He knew that baby wasn't coming back. He's fake as his name. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. I like the name Jake. Sorry. He's fake as all get out, though, for real. That's the part that stood there in front of the world. He did. And he said, please change my son's diaper. Just don't, that don't sit right with me. Hey, Tanya. Hello. Well, I don't know if they pay for interviews or not. I know Smiley don't pay for no interviews. And I know this, they got to approve you to get in them jails and be able, to do what you do, whether it's, I think they don't allow, they're still not going to allow the cameras, or we would have seen that. They're still not going to allow whatever. So Jake ain't making no money from that, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Now, somebody could have said they would put money on his books. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There, you got some people out there who do anything for view or click. And I'm not saying these people, because I don't even know. To be honest with you, I don't even know who took this interview. I got offline earlier and I was like, started seeing it all over the place. I'm like, hold up, do what? He did what? Okay. So I don't know. I don't know. You know, hey, Jennifer. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. You know, but he just tried to shift the story. This isn't about protecting their reputation at all. It's shot to hell. They don't care about that. This isn't about finding baby Emmanuel. They didn't care about him, in my opinion. They don't care about giving him dignity or giving him justice. Why? Because it's going to point right back to them. You know? Let's watch something else here, y'all. Well, she's itching to come up on my screen. No, that's my buttons and my fingers. Let's go ahead and watch this one. Hidden true crime.
The last few days, disturbing
Hidden
new
true
revelations
crime.
have surfaced that point not to a kidnapping, but to a cover-up, a tangled web of lies, secret searches along the California freeway, and whispers of a jailhouse confession that could explain why Emmanuel may never be found.
I gotta find one.
Let's hope he can be, though, because tonight we're unpacking what investigators now believe really happened and the shocking new details that could change this case forever. Thank you for continuing to care about baby Emmanuel. And as we've covered from the beginning, Emmanuel's parents, Rebecca and Jake Haro, were arrested on suspicion of murder, and investigators no longer believe Emmanuel is alive. That theory gained more weight just days ago when Jake led officers to an area along the westbound shoulder of the 60 freeway in Moreno Valley. With cadaver dogs at the scene, the search appeared to be focused on locating Emmanuel's body, fueling speculation that Jake had confessed and was showing authorities where to find his son.
They could have. I'm not saying they didn't. I can only tell you what I do or don't do. But it depends. I don't know who did that interview. You know, I know in some cases, I've seen with my own eyes, like in the Summer Wells case, we seen certain people handed money, okay. It doesn't matter who, what, when, where. Okay. But I don't know. I wouldn't think so. I would like to think people are doing this for the right reasons, but I don't know. And then, sometimes people like a tip, you do this and I will do that. But people know they're wasting money if they do that. Why would you do that with this one? He's fake as all get out. Fake as all get out. I don't think, again, who would they pay? Who would they pay? Jake can't have no cash in that jail. If they put something on his books, okay. But who would they pay for an interview? The cops? We ain't got no dirty cops up there, I don't think. I'm sure everywhere's got the cops. I'm not going to say that. Y'all know who I am on cops with what we've been dealing with. But they've done a good job, so I don't know who they would pay. That's just my opinion. I can only tell you what I do or not do.
But when the search came up empty, many wondered if Jake was sending investigators on a wild goose chase. On Wednesday, we've learned new information that helps clarify what actually happened. Stick with us as we break down the latest details.
Some people
Before this episode, we have
to pay
lot
all these cases,
to unpack from a recent video posted by News Nation senior reporter and podcast host Brian Enton. But before we get into it, I do want to share this info has not been substantiated by investigators. Although as of today, Brian stands by his source. Still, This is secondhand reporting that I'm doing, and we will circle back to what this could all mean in just a bit. In the video, Brian spoke with Kim Degonia, a former Riverside County prosecutor who likely has more insight than most into how both Riverside and San Bernardino counties handle investigations. And according to Brian, an inside source claimed that after Rebecca and Jake Haro were arrested, Jake allegedly told police that he had been sleeping with baby Emmanuel and accidentally rolled on top of him. And when Jake woke up, Emmanuel was dead, and Jake said he panicked. The source went on to say that Jake decided to bury Emmanuel in a remote area so he could later visit his son's grave to mourn. That, according to the account, was the reason for the search with law enforcement out of Moreno Valley.
Oh, yeah.
So if this source is accurate, we now know Jake's original story to police. However, these searches, even with cadaver dogs that fail to turn up Emmanuel or any evidence, it casts serious doubt on Jake's account. And given Jake's track record on severe abuse, lying, deflecting, and shifting blame, police would understandably be skeptical of this version of events. It's hard to believe that someone who previously abused his infant daughter so severely that she was left with permanent disabilities would suddenly have a child die in his care purely by accident, especially when recent photos of Emmanuel raised concerns by many of us about general well-being under his parents' care. Brian also reported that investigators chose to use a strategy known as a Perkins operation. A Perkins operation is a law enforcement technique where an undercover officer or informant is placed in a jail cell with a suspect to gather information and elicit incriminating statements. The operation is named after the Supreme Court case Illinois v. Perkins, which established that Miranda warnings are not required in this situation because the suspect does not know they are speaking to a law enforcement officer, thus eliminating the coercion that Miranda is designed to prevent. The goal is to
No, and I saw that, Leslie, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know what anybody would do at any point. I can't speak for anybody else, but I can tell you this. When that piece of shit come on Justin's, and I may be stepping out on a limb here, okay? I'm gonna do it for Justin and Josh, and neither one of them asked for this. Since you brought it up, I'm gonna throw Josh in there too. He might not like that. Josh is a funny kind of guy sometimes, but he's a good guy. And I'm gonna tell you something. When that piece of shit that did that to Monkey Vaughn came up on Justin's, they wanted payment. In fact, they demanded payment, and they wanted $50 and this, that, and the other. Both Josh and Justin told him to get bent. It wasn't that important to them. Get bent. Just saying. I do want to clarify that some people don't give a crap about the money. Plus, if you think about it, and again, Tanya, I'm not being mean. I'm not picking on you. Again, I don't care how much some people call subs, grifters, or gets, or the audience gives, or whatever. Honey, you would go broke if you gave interviews, if you paid for interviews and stuff every time you tried to turn around. There would be no point in you being on here. That's just my opinion. If you making that kind of money like that, tell me how to do it, because I don't know. I'm just saying, and he can't have money in jail. So I'm just saying, I don't know. That's just me. Not saying nobody ever would throw anybody $1 or $2 or 20. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm sure it happens. Would I sit down with somebody? I don't pay nobody, but would I sit down with somebody and would I foot the bill? Sure. If I had the money, sure. But why pay for milk when you can get it for free anyway? Ain't that the saying? And plus, some people have integrity. I know I do. I don't need it that fucking bad. Oh, I might need the money that bad, but I don't need to pay a scumbag that bad to get their lies. That's just me. Period. That's the way I think.
Obtain confessions, admissions, identify co-conspirators, or locate evidence for serious crimes, often when other evidence is weak or time is a major factor. And according to Brian's reporting, during the Perkins operation, Jake allegedly told the undercover inmate that he killed Emmanuel and placed his body in a trash can about a week before Rebecca reported him missing. And if this account is true, it could mean Emmanuel's remains had already been taken to a landfill by the time police were called. Brian's guest explained that waste management officials told the sheriff's department that it would be nearly impossible to trace which truck picked up that specific trash bin or which landfill it ultimately ended up in. That makes the task of recovering Emmanuel's remains extremely difficult.
It took me a minute to read that because of my eyes.
I do want to point out that while...
Wait a minute, honey. Thank you, Jennifer. Hold on a minute. You get a little something here. Hold on a minute. Hold on. We gonna hold on a minute. Where are we at? I can't even find my stuff here. So this shows y'all how much Smiley gets stuff. This is for you, Jennifer. That's for you, Jennifer. Thank you so much, honey. Oh my God, that's funny. I love you. I appreciate you being here. Oh my God, that made me smile.
Difficult cases have been solved by locating remains in landfills before. In fact, many cases. One of the most well-known examples is the case of baby Quentin Simon out of Savannah, Georgia. He was placed in a trash can that was later emptied into a landfill. Investigators and volunteers worked side by side, sifting through literal tons of garbage. Weeks later, they located remains and were able to determine his death was murder. His mother, Leilani, was ultimately found guilty of murder. And with that in mind, investigators absolutely have the capability to track which landfill services which trash bins. And if Jake or Rebecca actually confessed to which trash can or dumpster Emmanuel was placed in, law enforcement could at least narrow down the search site. It would be painstaking, exhausting work to dig through mountains of trash, but it is not impossible. But again, Jake already has a proven history of lying and deflecting blame, so it's likely investigators have very little confidence in any version of events he puts forward at this point. Another interesting tidbit that Brian raised in his video is that even after Jake allegedly confessed, or at least appeared to cooperate with law enforcement, Rebecca is reportedly still sticking to her original kidnapping story. And this has led many to wonder whether she could be experiencing a mental health episode or if she simply isn't aware of what Jake is saying and doing. Either way, she continues to maintain this narrative, a false narrative, according to investigators, which has fueled speculation that she may be protecting herself, or maybe has been the victim of coercive control, or feels compelled for a number of reasons to keep up the charade. Some have wondered.
Oh, I wanted to tell y'all something she said made me think about it. I don't know if it was in the press conference or what, because, we're trying to take all that in at once. But somewhere I heard, I think it was from them, maybe. I could be wrong. But, they gave her all the opportunity in the world, Rebecca, to say she was being abused. They, even though she had black eyes and stuff, and they gave her every opportunity to do all those things, and not get these charges, even though they probably would have charged her with them anyway, because, in my opinion, because they have the evidence. But they gave her I heard them say so many outs. She didn't take it. So it's my opinion, but I don't want to ever hear anybody say, oh, she was scared to run. She was scared that hell, she's locked up. What are you going to say now? You know, he sure ain't going nowhere, but what's the problem? She's still sticking to her story. She ain't scared. She wasn't never scared. She might have black eyes. What'd I say the other day? I bet she gave as good as she got. That's just my opinion. But the freaking people giving the press conference themselves, I guess she was trifling, wasn't she, Joe? Hi, Joe Neal. but they gave her every opportunity and she didn't. You know, they probably gave her every opportunity and she might have not have been, in my opinion, she might have not have been arrested just yet and had a little more taste of the outside while they got him. If she would have cooperated, you know, a little bit, but they know. Trifling. Just saying.
Wondered if it's possible that her behavior could be influenced by the way the mind responds to trauma or fear. I'm not a psychologist, but luckily I happen to be married to one, and he is the co-host, and he is a clinical and forensic psychologist, also known as a criminal psychologist, and he plans to come on very soon to talk about this exact thing as well as other aspects of this case, so stay tuned. Now, let's get to what we do know about the case, confirmed by investigators themselves, because today, which is Wednesday, Riverside County District Attorney Mike Hestrin opened a press conference by introducing the case. Hestrin explained that it was appropriate to address the public now because the defendants themselves had already held their own press conference, one in which they lied about their son being kidnapped. And then he introduced San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dicus, who walked through the investigative process. And that process began on August 14th, 2025, when Rebecca reported that Emmanuel had been abducted. But within just 24 hours, investigators obtained surveillance footage that exposed inconsistencies in her story. That same footage also showed there was no vehicle involved in any abduction, which meant an Amber Alert, of course, was never triggered. And from there, investigators spent hundreds of hours analyzing forensic data tied to vehicles, tied to phones, tied to the crime scenes, and multiple search warrants. Through this work, they determined that Emmanuel's murder most likely occurred in Riverside County. That finding placed the case under the jurisdiction of Riverside County prosecutors, though both Riverside and San Bernardino authorities are continuing to work the case together. Sheriff Dicus explained that San Bernardino's high-tech crimes unit uncovered proof of several key details that he could not share publicly at this stage, but the evidence clearly showed that the couple's original story was simply not true. It was a lie. He then introduced his partner, Chad Bianco, who spoke directly about the seriousness of the case. Bianco said that no crime is more important than the injury of a human being, especially a child, and emphasized the enormous resources that went into the effort to find Emmanuel and ensure that justice will be served for this innocent baby.
There is absolutely nothing, no crime more important than the injury of a human being, particularly a child. And the amount of resources that were expended to find this baby and to ultimately bring the people to justice responsible for the loss of this baby, I can't even tell you the amount of resources that were expended in this. It is a massive investigation that will obviously be ongoing, and we appreciate your efforts. This involves a lot of things, though, from us, and hopefully there are more questions to be answered, but I'll end it by saying this before we get into more questions specifically about this case. This was preventable in numerous ways. The amount of response we have had from the public, the enormous anger that a child was not only originally thought to be kidnapped, but then presumably murdered, kind of warms my heart a little bit, that there is compassion still out there. There is care about other people. There is, people actually do care about other people.
100.
Bianca went on to say that there is nothing worse than abusing a baby, breaking bones, causing lifelong trauma, and destroying a child's future. And that's, to put it mildly. He added that if the earlier case involving Jake's daughter Promise had been properly handled, Emmanuel would likely still be alive today. Jake, he said, should have been serving time for permanently disabling his own daughter and never should have had the chance to harm another child again. And next, District Attorney Hestrin announced that just yesterday, murder charges were officially filed against Rebecca and Jake, along with charges for filing a false police report. He then opened the door for questions from the media. And the first question asked was whether authorities had any idea where baby Emmanuel might be, because we are still missing baby Emmanuel. DA Hestrin responded that they do have a strong indication of where the remains could be and that the investigation is ongoing. And that was the exact term he used, a strong indication. When asked what led to the initial search in Moreno Valley, Sheriff Dyka said that without going into great detail, there had been some level of cooperation from the suspects. He added that the media needs to understand that they are dealing with.
See, he said there was some level of cooperation from the suspects. Even though they say Rebecca's sticking to her story. Wonder why he said it like that. I just wonder why he said it like that. Hey, Dawn. Hello, welcome. And how do you get a good idea where the baby is by evidence? I don't know. But was it because Jake the fake took them out where he did on a wild goose chase? Or is it because they have a good idea now that all this is taken care of and they can get subpoenas? I don't know if they have to have them in California. I'm sure they do. Search warrants or whatever. And now search the landfills because Jake the fake, under this operation, says he threw them in the trash can. Well, look, if you threw them in the trash can at home, whether it's false or not, I think the landfill should be searched, period, because they got to take the trash somewhere, right? So I don't know. I think they do have a team working on it today. And, and I think they are going to look for this body of little Emmanuel. I think they do have a pretty good idea. How, though, I don't know. But I truly pray that he's found. More than anything, I want this baby found. I want this a tight closed case, even though they can do it with no body. But I want this so closed, these people never get out. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion.
With an experienced child abuser, someone familiar with how previous cases were handled, including investigative processes. Next, a reporter asked DA Hestrin to provide details about Jake's previous case. Hestrin explained that in 2018, Jake and his ex-wife were both prosecuted for child abuse, neglect, and cruelty against their infant daughter. The prosecution brought several felony charges and sought a prison sentence. Well, Jake, Hestron said, pleaded straight to the court, and he clarified that a common misconception, this was not a plea bargain that Jake took. Judges cannot negotiate plea deals directly with defendants, only with prosecutors. But when a defendant, like Jake, pleads straight to the court, they are essentially pleading to all charges and putting themselves at the mercy of the judge. They're playing their hand. Hopefully, the judge takes mercy on them. And in Jake's case, the Riverside County judge did take mercy on him and handed down a suspended sentence, meaning Jake avoided prison but was placed on probation with the prison term looming over him if he violated its conditions. The prosecutor at the time objected, arguing Jake needed to serve prison time for what he did to his daughter. But the judge disagreed and also assigned 180 days of work release, similar to community service. DA Hestron called that decision, quote, an outrageous error in judgment, end quote. He said Jake should have been in prison at the time of Emmanuel's murder, and if the judge had acted appropriately, Emmanuel would still be alive. It was a chilling moment when he said this. He emphasized that when the criminal justice system fails in this way, it must be called out. Take a listen to that moment.
I will say that it was an outrageous error in judgment by this judge. And I don't have any problem saying that. I'm not attacking the judge personally. That decision was absolutely outrageous. Mr. Haro should have been in prison at the time that this crime happened. And if that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today. And that's a shame and it's an outrage. And I hate to say that, but when our criminal justice system breaks down, I'm going to just call it like it is and tell you it broke down. It's not
Jagger,
how it's supposed to work. The judge had obviously meant well. At the end of their sentence, he told Jake, I'm giving you a big break today. Don't mess it up. But I want to point something out to you. I want to read to you the injuries. That the child's name is Carolina. She is still alive today, but she is permanently bedridden. She has permanent damage,
more than that,
cerebral palsy that is a result of long-term child abuse. I want to read to you the injuries that were presented to in court to this judge at the time of that previous prosecution. Acute fracture of the posterior left rib, fifth rib, healing fractures of the posterior lateral 6th, 7th, and 10th through 12th ribs, healing fractures of the 6th and 9th through 12th ribs, partial bone fracture of the skull, brain hemorrhage, significant prevertebral soft tissue swelling of the neck, and a healing tibia fracture of the right leg. This is severe abuse for an infant. And so whatever you think of the criminal justice system and people need a break, someone who does that to a child belongs in prison, period.
This certainly.
He didn't do that justice. What he should have got up there and said was, he should have got up there and told that she's permanently bedridden, or they have to pick her up to put her in a wheelchair and tie her in the wheelchair to keep her. She has no mobility, to keep her from trying to get bed sores and stuff, and move her around a little bit. And she can't speak, walk, talk, think, anything because she has severe brain damage. She's completely 100% blind. She has a tracheotomy tube that they have to clean out all the mucus to keep her choked. That's what he really should have got up there and told. The full story. That's what he should have said, in my opinion. Now, again, it's the judge that come in last time and set in the setting judge that gave Jake this so-called chance that he thought Jake so very well deserved. anyway, somebody was asking, I think it was Jennifer, I did see your comment. Is there something about, do they know baby Emmanuel is gone? Well, yeah, I mean, they found a lot of blood in the house, but not only that, they have their forensics and physical evidence, and they got that from DNA. They got, I'm assuming it was decomp, but there was 2 to 3 spots in the car or truck or whatever they have. They went all the way back as far as they could to the videos, which was the 28th of July. Now they couldn't recover any after that. So, you know, they know, on top of all the fake stuff and the fake stories and all that, they know, you know, so there's that part, unfortunately.
Once again, leads us to believe Jake is the one responsible. Because if Jake had been behind bars, according to investigators, Emmanuel would still be alive. The next question from a reporter, though a bit hard to hear, involved Emmanuel's eye, which, as seen in photos, we've all seen the photos, appears to wander. And whether that indicated abuse has been something many of us have been wondering. Well, DA Hestrin responded saying, quote, "We believe that Emmanuel was severely abused over a period of time. Both parents would have been aware of that abuse," end quote. Take a listen.
We believe that Emmanuel was severely abused over a period of time, and that that's the reason for the filing the way it was, is that he was abused over a period of time. Both parents would have been aware of that abuse.
Following that moment, our friend Ahmed Beyozo from On the Tira asked the DA to provide more detail about where they believe Emmanuel may be located. Hestrin said that professionals are actively searching for the remains and that the public's help is welcome if anyone has information. He also noted that investigators do have specific areas in mind where they plan to focus their search. As mentioned in the earlier Brian Enton reporting, let's get back to that, a former prosecutor had noted that waste management could make it nearly impossible to locate Emmanuel if he had been disposed of in the trash. Nonetheless, DA Hestrin indicated that investigators do have potential locations in mind and are continuing their search. When asked about the specific roles each parent played in abusing Emmanuel, DA Hestrin said that all he can confirm at this time is that both parents have been charged with murder and filing a false police report. He explained that investigators believe they can prove both are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt for those charges, but exactly how the abuse and actions break down between them will ultimately be revealed at trial. A reporter then asked about rumors that Emmanuel had not been seen for some time. We've heard those rumors, right? We've been wondering, when was the last time Emmanuel was even seen? Well, Hestrin said he could not comment on that and that such details will need to come out during the trial. Regarding Child Protective Services and their involvement, Hestrin confirmed that, to his knowledge, CPS had not been involved in Emmanuel's life at all. There were no active CPS cases open for him, and it appears he had not been monitored or checked on by the child welfare authorities prior to this case, when all of a sudden he was missing and his parents alleged a kidnapping. Next, a reporter asked about Jake making an alleged confession. Take a listen to what was said.
I can tell you that that's not true. It's there's no confession made in jail.
So we will come back to that. But the next question was, how difficult will it be to try the case without locating baby Emmanuel? DA Hestrin acknowledged that a no-body homicide is always challenging. However, he also noted that in this situation, the fact that Emmanuel was an infant makes it clear he could not simply disappear on his own, which strongly indicates that something tragic happened to this baby. Hestrin added that Riverside County prosecutors have significant experience handling no body cases. And I'm saying no body, 2 words, not one. No body. It says a no body case. And he expressed confidence that they will be able to secure convictions here as well if Emmanuel is never found. Another reporter asked again about Jake's alleged jailhouse confession, and the DA responded unequivocally, stating that those reports are not true. Take a listen.
Well, see, that's not true. So I don't know where you, well, no. See, this is what happens when you've got all these folks out there online and these keyboard warriors. You get a lot of misinformation. And what you just said is not true. It's misinformation. So that's what I'll tell you did not happen. Okay. I can't talk about the facts of the case. Well, no, I'm giving you information about baby Emmanuel. I'm giving you information about the cases and the investigation, but what you just said did not happen. So, it's not, I can't be responsible for when you guys get it wrong.
So this is pretty interesting because Brian Enton said he had an inside source who reported the Perkins tactic taking place. After the press conference, many viewers pointed out to Brian what DA Hestrin had said, and Brian responded in the comments, and I'm going to quote Brian Enton right here, quote, "I stand by my reporting. My sources say there was a Perkins jail operation, what the DA considers to be a usable, legally sound confession I can't speak to, but I stand by what I reported," end quote. Some commenters and viewers also noted that DA Hestrin may not have had all of the facts about certain events, which struck many as unusual. For instance, one reporter brought up a fire at a neighbor's house near Jake and Rebecca, but that DA said he was not aware of it. While the fire may not be directly related to Emmanuel's case, and On the Tira told us on our interview with him that it was not related, still, it has been widely reported as a strange coincidence. One commenter on Brian's video wrote, quote, "The DA did not know the name of Jake's daughter that was abused. He didn't know about the fire across the road. He doesn't seem to know that much. I trust your reporting," end quote. It seems there's a perception among some that Brian's sources may have information that hasn't yet been fully communicated or confirmed by the DA's office, or maybe the inside source was mistaken. We simply do not know. Sheriff Bianco came back to the mic to say this about the spread of misinformation and disinformation, which they are claiming includes the report of Jake confessing to an undercover inmate. Take a listen.
This is to that and to the question before. A problem that we are having in this, basically even on the question that was asked 2 questions ago, is someone posts something on social media and then you all believe that it's true. I actually complimented the mainstream media because you've actually been reaching out to us for comment and actually been printing what we've told you. It hasn't been the sensationalism and the wants for clicks for social media. And that is doing nothing but harming this investigation. And when you form your opinion and come in here and ask questions like that, you're not serving the public in any way. The question way earlier, get some rest. There should be no one out there looking for baby Emmanuel except for us, because all you're going to do is complicate things in the future. And the one thing that I emphasize that I want to make it clear here, the reason this is happening relatively quickly and the reason why we got such a handle on this fast is I believe that the Inland Empire is served better by their 2 sheriff's offices than any place in the state. And this particular case doubled its efforts. So instead of having 4,500 people looking for baby Emmanuel, you had 9,000.
He better be
And
glad
so how
he had
did we get all this
9,000.
information?
He
It's called
better hope he
investigation.
gets 9,000
And we have
more,
2
in my
entire
opinion.
departments doing nothing but sifting through evidence, searching for evidence, trying to figure out what happened, who was responsible, and how we're going to successfully prosecute it. And misinformation, lies, and purposeful misdirection is going to do nothing but harm this investigation. And I am begging all of you with cameras out here, don't be a part of it. We have an absolute breakdown of the
It's a
justice
shame
system, and we are not preventing
Hold on.
other children from being harmed when someone.
It's a shame, in my opinion. They got mad about that question homie asked, and that's who they're directing it to. And again, in my opinion, that's wrong. Homie has worked his ass off. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. Now, I don't fault the law. I don't want nobody getting in the way. Y'all have heard me. People shouldn't be getting on people's property or going in the way and all that kind of stuff. But y'all have to admit, I don't care who you are. Homie's done a lot now. I'm just saying. That's just me.
Like Jake is allowed to be out on the streets harming children. And so the anger that I have, the frustration that I have, then combined with the misinformation and everything else, when for all of us and our employees, there is nothing more important to us than the death of a human, particularly a child.
The DA also emphasized that the public should avoid conducting their own searches or investigations, warning that it could potentially damage the case. He asked people to let the sheriff's departments handle everything, stating that they know how to do it properly. While it's true that no one should interfere with an active investigation or disrupt a potential crime scene, saying the public isn't helpful at all seems a bit overstated. In modern investigations, recent investigations, the public has often played a key role in solving cases, providing footage, tips, and even physically locating missing persons when law enforcement could not. And an example that stands out to me, especially today, is the murder of Gabby Petito. And the reason I say specifically today it stands out is because today marks 4 years since Gabby's life was cut short. It was the public who helped investigators find that video of Gabby's van, which led to finding Gabby's body. Two other examples also stand out to me. In the Kylie Rodney case out of Truckee, California, police had already searched the lake and surrounding woods extensively, but it was a volunteer group that located her inside her car just off the bank. And in our reporting about Jaden Spicer, our recent reporting, I spoke about the McCoy couple who helped find a missing man's body in the woods after hundreds of professionals had already searched. So while the DA's warning isn't wrong in principle, and I understand their warnings and encouragement to citizen journalists and to the public to be respectful of this ongoing investigation, it does feel somewhat one-sided to imply the public only interferes. That said, he may be speaking from the perspective of the chaos at the Haro's property, where people allegedly broke in and even
I'm sorry. I always forget when it's on mute and when it's not. But I was saying, yeah, homies did a lot, but y'all can also go over there and watch her and Hidden True Crime and sub up to Hidden True Crime. She does explain a lot of stuff good. I like that. But I do feel homie's done a lot. I mean, and there's a lot of information that a lot of people wouldn't know, and he is working his butt off. That's just my opinion. But so Jake, the fake Haro, gave this jailhouse interview, and it was beautiful this and beautiful that, and he didn't do this and he didn't do that, and I would say I love you and all that. Listen, Jake, if you ever watch this, just know, honey, you don't love nobody. I don't even think you love yourself. I'm not buying it. We, the people, want the truth. Where is Emmanuel? We want Emmanuel found. Also, I love you. I love you is more than just saying the words. It's, showing your actions, being present, listening, helping, forgiving, and standing by someone. It's unconditional. And none of those things Jake or Rebecca did for any of their kids, I don't think. I don't even think they love theirself, honestly. This is a whole different world right here. Whole different world. I wanted to show y'all something else. Hold on just a minute. Okay, we're going to watch this. I was going to play this last night and went to sleep. This is about, well, I'm going to let him tell you. Just watch.
Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled by it.
And
Thank
go
you.
sub up to him.
Now, dun, 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 ladies and gentlemen, I think we finally figured something out before Andatira.
Yes.
Shout out to Andatira again, man. Respects for everything he's doing. But I think we might have figured something out. See, someone got a hold of me. Someone reached out to me. Someone who's concerned with baby Emmanuel. And I'm not going to call him Baby Doe because that baby has a name. Mijo has a name. It was the name given to him by monsters, but it's still a name. Okay. And he needs to be looked at as a baby, not a it, not a was, not a could be, but he's a baby, right? Whether he's still alive or no longer with us, the body withers away, but the soul remains, right? And it's up to us to respect the baby, to respect him, and to make sure that his soul is remembered. He is remembered.
Hit that thumbs
properly.
up. Thank you.
Now, I figured something out. There's been a lot of speculation into whether baby Emmanuel was a real baby, whether he even existed, whether he belonged to Rebecca and Jake Haro. You know, there's been people that have said maybe they kidnapped him. Maybe they bought this baby. There is no records. There was no recollection by the mother of even when he was born, the exact date. She knows a month, but not the date. There's been a lot of people speculating that when she told investigators and police that he was 7 months old, he should have been 8 or 9 months. But the reason she said 7 months, it was a slip of the tongue. And I'm sure she does some slippery ass shit with her tongue, just looking at Jake, right? And how happy he seems to be.
With him, y'all might get
but she had a slip of her tongue and said 7 months because the baby passed at 7 months. But let me tell you something about Emmanuel. And I'm going to clear all this birth certificate stuff up. I'm going to clear all this no records because there are no records of this child being born at any hospital close to that area. Now, again, it would be hard for anyone to get a hold of medical records because for those of you that don't know, medical records are hard to come by. It is a HIPAA violation for anyone to post anyone's medical records or for anyone in the medical field to give medical records to just anybody. So it's pretty hard. You can get people's criminal records before you can get their medical records. Like I said, it's a direct violation of the HIPAA, and people it's just harder to come up with. Now, once things are placed online, once they're out there, then whatever you got, you get. That's just how that goes, right? So there's a lot of speculation going on. Does baby Emmanuel exist, or is he even part of that family? Could he been one of those migrant children that they somehow came across and got their whole hands on? Why, I highly doubt it. They don't seem like the type of individuals, Jake and Rebecca, that even care to have another baby in their presence. They seem like they were too busy getting high and too busy Netflixing and chilling to worry about another child. We obviously know Jake has something against children. You can just see it in his eyes. He is a big child that doesn't want to play with anybody. Don't play with my toys.
There you
He's just a
go.
big old nerd. As far as Rebecca is, she's just happy to have a younger man in her presence and is willing to do anything that man asks to go above and beyond. But I seen her yesterday in the court pictures, and she looked over at Jake, and she had that woman's scorn look like I ain't never seen before. I think it was brought to her attention somewhere along the line during court that Jake Haro is willing to go ahead and point the finger at her. And oh man, there ain't nothing like a woman scorned, right? He's gonna feel every bit of that. She's gonna let us know everything. But let me break the news on what I found out. Now, again, this is secondhand information, but at the same time, this is the most feasible and most relatable and real story that I've heard. And it comes right from somebody who was present, one of the horse's mouths. So with all this speculation going on why there is no birth certificate, why they cannot prove that baby Emmanuel even exists, or why they cannot prove that these are the parents of the baby. And let me tell you something, like I said, Rebecca's fat ass should already know how big her child is, when he was born, how many hours she was in labor, just, I mean, every little different detail. I made sure that I called my mother yesterday to find out, hey, mom, what day was I born? She spit it out like a, how much did I weigh? 7 pounds, 8 ounces. Damn, I was a big baby. How long was I? She told me. You know what I'm saying? How many hours were in your labor? 17, motherfucker, and you're paying for every bit of it. Okay, all right, right? So now it was just that fast after 47 years. You're telling me a mother that has had a baby just 7-8 months ago doesn't know how much he weighed? Well, there's a reason for that, and I'm about to clear it up. So yesterday, someone got a hold of me. Someone who lives very close and knows Rebecca and Jake Haro pretty good. And this person told me a story and kind of cleared all the speculation up for me. And I thought if for no other reason, I should put this out here because I think I figured it out. Orale, anda tira, I got you, carnal. Here we go, Hums. From one dude from up north to a dude down south. See how when we unite, things can get done, right? I thought that when I look at this mother, right, Rebecca, and I don't even want to call her mother, when I look at this monster and I look at Jake, they remind me of people I know. They remind me of a particular family that I've been around, that I know, that their home is methed out the game. It's all methed up in there, right? They have family members ODing. These are the type of people that are committing fraud and scams, welfare fraud and food stamp fraud and EDD fraud, and they're all on fucking workman's comp, and they're scamming that way, and no one in the household works. All the men, you know what I'm saying, sleep in. All the women get up early, look stupid. I mean, just I've been around a family like this where nobody in the family works. They all get their food stamps and have barbecues every fucking weekend until the shit runs out and the kids are starving, eating top ramen and Takis, right? I've seen this. I've lived through it. I've been a part of it, not
he's telling involved,
but
truth
in the immediate surroundings of it. So I've seen families like this, and these people reminded me of that. People that don't take care of their children, people that have their kids outside running around, their kids running around outside in diapers, all shitted on, right? I've seen this, and I've been like, wow, women that go out and leave their kids and have the biggest bottle of Benadryl that I didn't even know that existed. Go Timu, right? I'm just like, damn, melatonin for reals.
That's why I'm showing
these types
this.
Of things I've seen,
truth.
But one thing I've never seen is the people go as far as killing their children or hurting their children, other than emotionally screaming, and still abuse is abuse. You can't get around it. But I've never seen hacksaws lie and fabricated stories of Mr. Ola, right? I've never seen that. That was above and beyond reproach. That right there was crazy. Well, so there's a reason why there is no birth certificate for baby Emmanuel. And it's about time that I tell you after 8 minutes into this video and you've been waiting. It's because one doesn't exist. It's because baby Emmanuel was not born in a hospital in that area. Baby Emmanuel was born in that methed up house. Let me explain to you. So according to this guy who knows the family very well, him and his wife, who's a friend of Rebecca's, this house right here is very known for the whole family getting high. You know, and when a woman does meth while she's pregnant, if she goes to the hospital, they're going to administer blood tests. They're going to check and make sure the woman is healthy enough to give birth because, again, that's what a hospital does. You know, they want to make sure that the baby is safe and the mother is safe delivering that baby, whether it's a C-section, a natural birth, however the hell they do it, right? They still got to make sure the mom is up to par. They're not trying to lose anyone. It's not what hospitals do. Now, most women know that they're going to do blood tests. So anything you have in your bloodstream will show in a test. Okay? How do I know I've been through that situation? I'm not going to say which baby mama, but let's just say I had a baby mama that had some shit in her stream. It was all bad, right? So from what this guy tells me is Rebecca did not want to go to the hospital because she was using at the time. Her and Jake were using at the time. I believe they always used. I believe that whole family, and I'm not going to say the whole family, but definitely the brother who OD'd and other family members who have OD'd.
Shit. There we go. I agree with him. I think that they were all using, you know, I ain't saying the grandma and stuff, but who knows? Hell, she could have been the mule, who knows? The mule. I've been watching too many movies, honey. She could have been riding the camel's back over in the desert. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Okay. Anyway, did this dude say he was from down south? He said he was down south. I'm sorry. I'm letting him explain it to you in the real world, in the real language. Okay, I can always explain it to y'all a couple of ways. And Joe, I saw you. Joe, I saw you. Y'all are bad today.
In that home, they were using meth. And she had it in her bloodstream, so she decided she was going to have the baby at home. And this man's old lady was right there when it happened, when she had the baby at that home. So the home that you're seeing, that is where she gave childbirth. Now, I'm not making no fucking excuses. I'm not going to sit here and say that all the blood that they found in the living room was from childbirth. Could have been. Could have been. I'm not making excuses for them. I'm just saying things are starting to add up. The puzzle pieces are starting to come together. But that's why we were not able to find a birth certificate or any type of documentation that says that child was born in a hospital. No weight, no length, no birth certificate, no first name, no none of that. These fucking weirdos, these methed up individuals, just had the baby right there in the living room. This guy was right. His wife was right there when it happened. You know what I'm saying? I said, put that on something. I'll put that on everything. I also got another message confirming that from someone else. So that right there could pretty much clear up why there is no birth certificate. Now, as far as the blood situation in the living room, that is just something I added. That could or could not be the case, right? And I highly doubt that much blood is from childbirth, unless he was hemorrhaging or whatever. I believe that blood comes from foul play and a hacksaw.
No,
unfortunately
not. I know they're looking for
but that is the
baby,
reason.
That's it.
From what I'm hearing. Now, I was around families like that, and I'm going to tell you guys the truth. The baby, the birthing situation, I've seen it before. I had a homeboy, and his lady was from the most trickiest fucking Hatfield McCoy ass fucking hippied out family that you've ever seen in your life. They were straight redneck, backstage. I mean, hey, you want to have a drink your coffee? Right there.
That sounds like me,
hey,
honey.
Can I borrow your transmission? The type of motherfuckers that knock on your door and you'd be like, oh shit, the neighbor's here. Look at this motherfucker. He's probably gonna ask to borrow my lawnmower for some coffee. They'll knock on your door. Hey, would you happen to have an extra muffler? Right? Like, what? Yeah, my muffler seems to have went out. And I've seen that you got an old 67 Bug. And even though I got a Mustang, fuck it. Let's see if it fits. Like, nah, I ain't got one of those. Just came from a redneck old back hills family, right? That looked like they just boned each other on the regular. Even the men. It was just different. And what happened was they all gave childbirth in the homes. The women. All the time. Didn't believe in going to the hospital unless you were damn near dying. Didn't believe in a lot of things, right? This is what happened. And so my homeboy was all freaked out. He called me one night. Hey, bro, you got to pick me up, bro. I said, what happened? I said, bro, I don't fucking know about this chick anymore, bro. She's talking about having my baby in a fucking... I said, oh, she's going to do that fucking childbirth in a pool and shit. No, bro, she's talking about a pool, yeah, but the one that you get at fucking Kmart in the back. The water's only this much. She's talking about she's going to sit there and shit. And if the baby comes out, bro, she's been shitting all night. I'm cool, right? Like, I was like, all right. Let me pick you up. The uncles are, go, Mary. Go, Mary. God damn, that's a big log in there, right? Like, oh no, had to get him away from that. I was like, you don't want to be there for the birth of your own son? He's like, bro, I've seen too much shit already. I'm cool. So I had to get my home. So I've seen like different type of childbirth and weird things. So it's not too far.
I'll make sure you drop his link.
That they would
I'll go sub up to this guy.
Back to the seriousness of this, right? Poor baby Emmanuel. He was born right into the clutches of evil, to be born in a meth house, then to go through what he went through. The baby looked sad so much. It hurts my heart. It literally hurts my heart to look at pictures of him. I hate looking at pictures of him because the puffiness around his eyes, that you could tell he had a fractured face at some point in time. I can just tell these things by looking at a baby. You know, he's not happy. He was not happy. He was not a baby that, you know, there's babies cry and they're fussy and they need their diaper change and they might have I don't know what it is when the babies are crying and crying and crying and crying. You're like, oh shit, you're going crazy, right? But you just pat them because you love them. He never got picked up for none of this. He probably heard a whole lot of, fuck, get that mother, you know what I mean? All that. I'll kill this motherfucker, Jake, right? Rebecca, shut up. You know, you wish you had a people like that. These motherfuckers piss me off. How can you do that to a baby, right? This baby was brought into the world under suspicious activity. All because a fat fucking pig mother, I said it, or not a mother, a monster, a meth monster, from what I'm hearing, is scared to handle her business. When you have a child, let me explain to you about having children. Most women change. I had a homegirl, gang banged out the game. More gangster than I ever could be. I couldn't walk a mile in her shoes, nor would I want to.
Yeah.
High heels are not my thing. She was gangster. Van Davis's, suspenders, fucking brim hats, red rags, straight northern out the game. Like, she used to look at homeboys, this so babe, right there, like, fuck, she's bad, but fuck, she looks like she'll beat my ass. She probably would.
Yeah,
and then she got pregnant by one of my homeboys. I don't know what he was thinking.
Keeps
he might as well. That was like sleeping with his brother, but whatever, right? She was pretty. She was pretty crazy. He ended up having a kid with her, and she disappears. She's pregnant. I'm like, damn, you're pregnant. She's still trying to kick back, but she's not drinking or doing drugs. She's like, what's up, babe? Yeah, that's all right. We'll wait till I'm back. I'm gonna get down. I'm like, all right, cool. A couple years pass. I go to prison, or I'm doing a violation, or whatever it was. I forget, man. But I'm just out of the way, right? And I see her at a Walmart. Almost missed her. Totally different curly hair. Looks like a woman. Beautiful, right? Not gang related at all. She catches my attention. I'm like, damn, look at that ass. And I see her turn around and I see her mole she has, and I recognize her. And I'm like, oh, what's up, girl? And she's like, oh, what's up? It's been a long time. What are you doing? I said, shit, you already know, active and attractive. You know what I'm saying? Out here being a handsome devil. What's up? And she was like, oh, you're still in the mix like that? She's like, oh, that's cool. And I said, what's up with you? Why don't you ever come around? And she's like, because I had a baby, man. She's like, I had my baby. And from that moment on, I'm done. Like, I'm done. It's cool. You know what I mean? I support you guys and everything. But I'm done. Like, I don't want to be around the homies. I don't want no one around me like that. That's just not what I'm into anymore. You know, I'm just a mom. That's all I am, is a mom. I'm nothing else but a straight up mom, right? And I said, you know what? I respect it. And I was proud of her. And I watched her throughout the years come up in life and meet a regular dude and buy a home. And they had cars and minivans and all that. And that's what she chose to be, a mom. She chose to dedicate her life to her child because it was her responsibility. She knew her old man wasn't worth shit. The homeboy was locked up talking about, motherfucker, are you active? Right?
Listen, and that's another reason I want y'all to hear this, because, you know, these people, you know, they can turn their lives around. People can. It's just the people like Jake and people that do bad things to kids and stuff, I don't ever believe that they can. And they're the ones that get eat alive in the jail. Everybody hates those people, but anybody can change their life around. This mother he's telling about, she was in a gang. Sometimes you don't get out of gangs. Sometimes they never let you go. I don't know what her situation was, but look, even he was proud of her because she wanted to change her life. He ran into her in the store, and when she had her baby, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Even she had sense enough with a child to do or try to do the right thing. You know, people, just because you think they're bad people or they make mistakes or whatever, your mistake is not their mistake or whatever, or you don't call it a mistake. Listen, I don't care who you are. Nobody like that believes in hurting kids. Okay? You don't do it. That's the biggest taboo thing in America. You do not do that, honey. You don't do it. So he's telling the truth. And I think you can come back from almost anything, but you can't come back from that. You can't come back from hurting kids, the elderly and disabled, or the, you know, the animals. You just can't. That's my fact.
I don't know what you are, but he was doing his thing, and she chose a better life for her child. And her child grew up, and I remember seeing them years later, and her child was in school, and she did what what she was supposed to do. What a motherly instincts does. Fathers are like that too. It's a little bit rough for fathers. Most fathers are like, well, shit, you know what I mean? There's too much pussy out here. But a father will love his child no matter what. Especially when you have a daughter, that's daddy's girl. And I'm gonna tell you right now, anybody can get it. And my daughter got her hair done the other day, and I ain't even gonna lie. I was like, I'm gonna have to hurt motherfuckers, right? This is just how it is. So Rebecca and Jake, the worst of the worst. But just to clarify and reiterate, man, that is why there is no birth certificate. That is why there is no record, medical records of where baby Emmanuel was born, because he was born in that home. And this is according to an eyewitness, someone whose wife was actually right there, who knows these people, who told me this. Didn't tell me this in confidence, like, hey, you can't tell anyone. He told me this for this specific reason, to put this story out there. I believe it to be true. It explains a lot. Okay? It's not far reaching. It explains that these people put their fucking selves ahead of a baby. And they continue to do that. When are they going to just come clean and tell us where baby Emmanuel is? Let the baby be put to rest properly. Let the people who care and actually love this baby put this baby to rest properly. You know, is the baby's body still, are we still able to find the baby? Because, you know, one thing was brought up yesterday, and it's a very great question. We know that Rebecca bought a hacksaw and lye. And for those of you guys don't know what lye is used for, it's used to basically strip the body from the bones. Okay. And it has a distinct smell, right? They said, well, if the lye was used on this baby, okay, let's just say, and baby Emmanuel, I hate to think about it, but let's just say for content purposes, if it was used, the theory of the wild animals getting the body, wouldn't they not be attracted to this body because of the lye? That's a great question. Wouldn't the officers and cadaver dogs be able to figure out if the baby was there? That's a great question. Here's my question to law enforcement. When they took Jake to this immediate area to find baby Emmanuel, where he says baby Emmanuel was placed, right? Where are the cadaver dogs? If he's telling you there's a body out there, why don't you have cadaver dogs? Why is it just a fucking stupid nerd in a fucking orange jumpsuit and a bunch of fucking cops walking around listening to what a fucking known liar tells you? He already lied once. That's why he's got false statements to an officer. That's why he was charged with that. Why are you going to continue to let him give you false statements? Get your cadaver dogs. Let's get the community. You know, it's crazy because I was told another thing yesterday. We could have fucking people in the streets rioting and protesting, and there's all kinds of armed forces and all kinds of SWAT team out there and a million people to protect property. When are you guys going to get your shit together and go out there and protect the baby and go out there and look for a baby Emmanuel? I'm just saying, in that immediate area, law enforcement needs to step their game up. So anyways, that's what it is. That's why there is no birth certificate, is because that beetle hut didn't want to go to the hospital because she had meth in her system and she had the baby right there in that damn living room. Is that the blood that they found from the childbirth? Or is that something more heinous? I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strike.
Okay, I do want to correct one thing, and he may not be aware of this, but there was cadaver dogs there. I'm trying to get this down. Okay, so there was cadaver dogs there. We know at least one cadaver dog was there on site. So I just don't think if a baby Emmanuel is there at that one place that he was there, like right there. I think he would have to be further on back or something like that. But I don't know. I'm not a dog handler. I don't know about all that stuff. So, but there was a cadaver dog there. I do know that. But that just, I wanted to clear that up. I saw that about the birth certificate, and a lot of people have speculated about that. You know, it is awful funny how in that one video, I think I said it yesterday, the mom didn't know she was being recorded, and her and Jake both said he was born in December. And then the one at the funeral said we hadn't seen your baby since November. So is it November or is it December? And then I was listening to, I didn't put it up because I just heard it this morning, and I didn't listen to all of it. So I don't want to take it out of context or anything. But I heard this, enough to hear this, that down the rabbit hole, and y'all can go over there and listen to it, that she said, if you go back and listen, which I didn't get a chance to, she said, if you go back and listen to the funeral one, somebody asked, again, did anybody hear? Because somebody asked where the baby was or where your little brother was, and she said she didn't have no little brother. True or not? Was the little 2-year-old meaning she didn't have him no more, or what? Honey, I couldn't tell you. This case is so outrageous, but I think he was born at home. I think he was born at home. And yes, he could have got a birth certificate, but I think, what's her name, was too dang lazy to do any of that. Let's see, Bobby said, I heard someone ask, where is the baby? But you couldn't understand what was it. Yeah, I heard that part. But evidently, I don't know, down the rabbit hole was saying something else. That's why I told y'all, go listen to it, because I didn't hear and I didn't go back to look. But I did hear, and I think I played it on here moons back, when it first came out about the funeral, and somebody said that, and they said November. So we got November, and then we got December. So who knows? But yeah, that is true. If it was heard out of the mouths of babes, that is true. So yeah, I don't know. Y'all just have to go listen to that one. That's just something I come across this morning. I don't know if that's true or not true. I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there since we were talking about that. But, you know, Jake, I can tell you, he don't love nobody and all that. But I think we watched enough right now. I think we have. And I want to tell y'all that I appreciate you. I appreciate all my mods. I appreciate everybody being here, my subs, anybody in the bushes. Everybody hit that thumbs up. Let's keep this story out. We're going to follow it to the end. There is so much to talk about. I can't even keep up with it. I really can't. But don't give up. Don't give up on baby Emmanuel. Hold on a minute. Hold on just a second. Y'all hold on just a second. Hold on a minute. I'm fixing to, I gotta text somebody. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I keep getting blowed up. Anyway, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I apologize. Anyway, yes, just please, thank you. I couldn't, I tried. Okay. Anyway, so I appreciate all my mods, everybody here. Everybody. Thank you for being here. We're not going to give up on baby Emmanuel. We're just not going to do it no matter what. And keep his name and face out there. Keep all that in the light and everything. Okay. And I will be back later today. This is Smiley. And you know, you're in my world, so we'll talk about it. And I'll see you in the streets, YouTube streets, that is. Hit that thumbs up, and thank you very, very much. Thank you for being here.